Hi, hello. Today we are going to be talking about how to play Pokémon Sleep. I would consider this a beginner's guide, and most advice here is for early Sleep players. If you've already unlocked Lapis Lakeside at the time of me posting this YouTube video, I'd guess you probably have a good grasp on the game already, so this video might not be helpful to you. I'm going to break this video down into some chapters, but I do want to start off with the money portion of the game. I want to say that I am not a free-to-play player, nor am I a whale. I subscribe to the monthly membership, and since release, I've purchased about 3,000 gems from the store. I've only used those gems on bundles and permanent upgrades. Out of the 3 permanent upgrades, I think Ingredient Pocket is the one you should go for the most, followed by Item Pocket, and then finally your Pokemon Box. Pokemon Sleep isn't Pokemon Go where you're catching tons of Pokemon a day, so you can be a little more picky in this game. And you should be. We'll get to that. I have never purchased the bargain bundles here that reset monthly. These are designed for whale players. You see them in other games like Genshin Impact. The seasonal bundles, like the bundles over the Fire-type week, are always better if you have gems to spend. But these seasonal bundles do vary, so it's really hard to say, like, always do the middle one or always do the smallest one. That they are different for every event. As for the single-use items in the store, like Pokebiscuits, incense, helper whistle, etc., I think the only thing actually worth your gems from these items is the good camp ticket. Keep in mind that 500 gems is roughly $10 USD, and if you're going to purchase one of those, I recommend just getting the monthly membership for the free ticket plus all the other benefits you get with that membership. There's no good reason to buy a single good camp ticket if you don't already have the membership, but that's just my opinion. I also just want to point out that all these items, Pokebiscuit, incense, helper whistle, I've never purchased any of them. I play the game every day since launch, and I do enjoy it quite a bit, so I do find that $10 a month works out for me. I'm not saying that you should get the membership, nor was this part of the video to convince you to get the membership, but the point of this was just the good camp ticket is the best item that you could spend real money on, and you do get one free a month with the $10 a month membership. Moving on to Pokemon. The first 2 islands in the game, Greengrass Isle and Cyan Beach, are going to have the majority of Pokemon you'll use to build for other islands. When starting off, there are some Pokemon that are significantly more important than other Pokemon. To simplify this, all the starter Pokemon in the game are good, if not the best in their respective categories. These are going to be Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, Chikorita, Cyndaquil, Totodile, Pikachu, and Eevee. These are the Pokemon you should prioritize and care about until you get, quote, a perfect one of them. Before we get to finding the perfect Pokemon, let's talk about what that means. Pokemon Sleep puts Pokemon into 3 different specialties: ingredients, berries, and skills. You can see this at the top right near gender and type. Side note, each Pokemon can only be one type in this game, so Charizard is only fire type and Magnemite is only steel type, for example. Once you realize which Pokemon have which specialty, this will help you make choices about what subskills you should want for the perfect Pokemon. Let's start off with ingredient Pokemon. All 3 Kanto starters, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander, are the Pokemon you want to care about and catch to get on your team as soon as possible. These 3 also have the same main skill, which is Ingredient Magnet. We're gonna have to jump around for a bit, but I promise if you follow me through these starters, it will all make sense. Since the Kanto starters all have the same specialty, which is ingredients, and the same main skill, which is Ingredient Magnet, these Pokemon will do exactly as they claim to do, which is to get you ingredients for your cooking pot to make meals. The subskills and the nature you want should be focused on their specialty. The best subskills for ingredient Pokemon will be both Ingredient Finder and Inventory Up. These 2 subskills should make sense just based off their name. Ingredient Finder means your Pokemon will get more ingredients, and Inventory Up means that they will hold more of said ingredients. And in the case of the Kanto starters, we're aiming for also Skill Trigger. Skill Trigger means that your main skill, which is Ingredient Magnet S, will activate more often. That's it. Pretty simple. You just have to have RNG give you Ingredient Finder, Inventory Up, and Skill Trigger when you catch one of your Kanto starters. Here's my personal Blastoise at level 50. It has Inventory Up Large, Ingredient Finder Medium, and Skill Trigger Medium. I'll also show my Venusaur at level 31 just to show different combinations of these subskills. We have Skill Trigger M at level 10, Ingredient Finder M at level 25, and I'll unlock inventory up at level 50. As of this recording, the max level cap in the game is 55, so when finding a Pokemon, just know that this game's been out for nearly a year and most players don't have a lot of max level Pokemon. I only have 4 Pokemon at level 50 and I've been playing every day since launch. So when collecting Pokemon, keep in mind your subskills at level 10, 25, and 50 should be more important for the current state of the game. While Ingredient Finder at level 100 is great, you're not going to unlock that anytime soon. Let's talk about the Johto starters to help make more sense of what we're looking for. The Johto starters also have the same specialty, which is berries. They also have the same main skill, which is Charge Strength Small. But unlike Ingredient Magnet S that the Kanto starters have, this main skill isn't as important. In my opinion, it's fine, but the subskills matter more on these Johto starter Pokemon. What you cannot be flexible about is one of the subskills you want for sure on the 3 Johto starters, which is Berry Finding Small. This is a gold subskill. Once again, as of this video, max level in the game is 55, so Berry Finding Small in level 75 or level 100 is not worth waiting for. Even Berry Finding Small at level 50 is still going to be a lot of work, so you're going to want to aim to get this subskill at either level 10 or level 25. Most people would agree that the 2 best subskills in the entire game are Berry Finding Small and Helping Bonus, both being gold subskills. But just know that gold subskills are the rarest to get on a Pokemon. But when you get a Pokemon to friendship level 10, which just means you've caught 10 of that species, you are guaranteed 1 gold subskill for any future catches on that species. The little number that you see right here on the catch screen is how many you've caught so far. And just a side note, if you've caught 9 Totodile and 1 Croconaw, that doesn't add to the Totodile. It is per species, so you would start building that Croconaw number. The Totodile number would be separate. Going back to Berry Finding Small, for most Pokemon, this is generally just a good subskill, but in my opinion, it is a must-have subskill at level 10 or level 25 for any berry specialists. Again, you can check this in the upper right-hand corner of the game near gender and type. I said earlier that Pikachu was a good Pokemon in this game because it shares the berry specialist and the charged strength with the Johto starters. Other good subskills for berry specialists would be Helping Speed, Smaller Medium, and Helping Bonus. Honestly, though, I'm not super picky here because getting Berry Finding Small is already hard enough. I've been playing this game since launch and have yet to find a Berry Finding Small Totodile to put this whole thing in perspective, so I'm not too picky when that finally happens. But by all means, you can be more picky. But this section is just to tell you what you're looking for on berry specialist Pokemon. Before we dive into natures, let's talk about the skill specialist Pokemon. In particular, Eevee. Eevee is a skill specialist and one of the few Pokemon in the game that changes their main skill upon evolving. Kirlia into Gallade is just one of the other Pokemon that changes their main skill upon evolving too. There's a few more. But when we are deciding on what Eevee to evolve into, you might have to look up Island, main skill, and what you really want your Eevee to be for. Skill Pokemon in general usually want Skill Trigger as a subskill. But Vaporeon, for example, has a main skill of Ingredient Magnet S, just like our Kanto starters. So this means that we would want also Ingredient Finder and Inventory Up. Both Flareon and Glaceon have the same main skill, which is Cooking Power Up S. This will let you add more ingredients to your cooking pot. And this is great to pair with your Kanto starters to make your cooking pot bigger to use all those ingredients. So for Glaceon and Flareon, I would look for the subskills of Skill Trigger, Smaller Medium, Helping Speed, Smaller Medium, and even Skill Level Up, Smaller Medium. I'm not going to talk about all the Eevee evolutions, but one of the best ones in the game is Sylveon. Sylveon has easily one of the most powerful main skills in the entire game, which is called Energy for Everyone Small. You'll see this abbreviated online as E4E. What this does is it gives all your teammates energy back when the main skill activates. Not to go too in-depth in this video, but keeping all your Pokemon above 80% energy throughout the day is a very, very, very good thing. Pokemon like Sylveon can accomplish this, and it can be on most teams regardless of which island or which berries, because its main skill is that helpful. Now, before you evolve your Eevee into Sylveon, I have a really personal hot take for this entire video. But before I get to it, make sure you hit the like button down below and comment below if you're still here. When you finish this video, if you have any more questions regarding Pokemon Sleep, leave them below, and then I'll do another video addressing your questions. All right, here's your hot take. I know hardcore fans are ready to type up a novel in the comments below, but my hot take is ignore finding a good Sylveon and just look for an Igglybuff instead. The Igglybuff line has energy for everyone small, like Sylveon, but it's easier to come by and way easier to get candy for. On top of this, because of the amount of different EVs in the game, you might want to use your candy for an Espeon or a Glaceon, and if you're doing that, you're going to have less candy for something like a Sylveon. Another point that people might be trying to type up is to save your resources and wait for a Ralts. But if you're watching this video, you probably don't have Lapis Lakeside opened, and even if you do, that doesn't mean a perfect Ralts is going to fall into your lap between all these green grass events that happen. While it is true that Gardevoir currently is the best energy for everyone small in the game as I made this video, it's going to take months for new players to unlock Lapis Lakeside. Heck, I've had Lapis Lakeside unlocked for 3 months, and I don't have a single good Ralts to show for it, and I've been there for over 5 weeks now. The Igglybuff line is slightly worse than Sylveon when it comes to energy for everyone small, but I don't think you're going to notice it. Plus, it's very easy to catch and power up while still giving you the flexibility of saving your Eevee candy for another Eevee evolution. And you can then use this Igglybuff line until you get the good Ralts. Think of it as a stepping stone. The other thing we haven't talked about is evolution. Notice I said Igglybuff and not Jigglypuff. There isn't really a benefit of catching already evolved Pokemon. Not only do evolved Pokemon like Pikachu, Jigglypuff, Bayleaf, or Charmeleon cost you more biscuits to catch, any freshly caught Pokemon will always start with a level 1 main skill. There are 2 ways to increase your main skill level on your Pokemon. The first is to use a main skill seed, which is one of the rarest and best items in the game. As somebody who pays $10 a month for the monthly subscription, you can buy 1 of these in the premium shop with your sleep points a month. The second way to increase your main skill is by evolving your Pokemon. So an Igglybuff evolved into a Wigglytuff will be energy for everyone small level 3, whereas an Eevee evolved into a Sylveon would only be level 2. And a freshly caught Wigglytuff would only have a main skill level 1, so increasing your main skill by evolution is incredibly powerful. It will end up making you want to pass on catching like a wild Charizard or a Flaffy. On top of that, because you shouldn't focus on catching those evolutions, you're going to end up saving more Pokebiscuits in the long run as well. So just for the basics here and a quick recap, Ingredient Specialist Pokemon should have Ingredient Finder Small, Medium. Berry Specialist Pokemon should have Berry Finding Small. And Skill Specialist should have Skill Trigger Small and Medium. All 3 of these can also benefit from Helping Bonus, which is a gold skill, or Helping Speed Small or Medium. And then remember, we always want to catch non-evolved Pokemon like Pichu, Squirtle, Igglybuff to maximize our main skill upgrades and to save on Pokebiscuits. Speaking of catching, there are some Pokemon in the game that are just not worth a single Pokebiscuit. Even if they're hungry, they're still not worth that Pokebiscuit. I would even go as far to say that even with your free daily biscuit, these Pokemon are still not worth catching. Those would be, as of this video, things could change, Ekans, Wynaut, Gulpin, Riolu, Meowth, and Sableye. But like I said, as of recording this video, you are just throwing away your Pokebiscuit on these Pokemon because they're just not going to do anything for you on your team. Although if they are shiny, it only takes 1 Pokebiscuit to auto-catch a shiny, so might as well do that. You don't have to use a Master Ball or anything on a shiny, they're auto-catch with just 1 simple Pokebiscuit. Once you end up catching your perfect Charmander or Pichu, you can ignore future Charmanders or Pichus, you can ignore the bad Pokemon I listed, you can ignore most evolutions, and then you can focus on saving your Pokebiscuits for other future team members you might need for other islands. Pokebiscuits are more important than the game leads you to believe, so you don't want to waste them on a hungry Gulpin or a hungry Meowth. The game also makes it really hard to level up 2 of the same Pokemon at the same time because resources in the game are so restricted. So that's why I only have 1 Blastoise at level 50, 1 Venusaur at level 30. Those Pokemon to me are close to perfect for how I play the game. any more Squirtle candy or Bulbasaur candy, I'm just going to put directly into those instead of a new Bulbasaur or a new Squirtle. Now that we understand what to catch and what to look for at a very basic level, let's throw a new component into the mix, which is natures. Even if you got the perfect sub-skills on your Bulbasaur, natures can make or break a Pokemon pretty easily. Like in main series games, natures will boost one stat and decrease another, unless it's neutral, which actually in this game is better than some of the options. A Jolly Nature, for example, would increase the experience your Pokemon earns by 18%, but it would reduce the ingredient finding of your Pokemon by 20%. This would ruin a Bulbasaur whose main focus is to get ingredients. To keep it simple just for this video, because we can go way more in depth in the future, I think any speed of help down nature on any Pokemon is kind of terrible and it hurts a little bit too much. But I would say experience down on any Pokemon is actually very good. In the long run, when you get to level 100, you can't earn experience anyways, so that negative actually just goes away. Where if you had experience up on a Pokemon, technically you would get to level 100 faster, but then the positive would go away and you're only left over with that negative. Since the game is such a slow burn, I don't mind experience down as my negative stat. If I have something like a Raichu, which is a berry specialist, I wouldn't mind ingredient finding down on that since its role is not the same as the Kanto starters. But there are better natures for Raichu. You would also want the nature that increases your main skill chance to go up on your energy for everyone Pokemon like Wigglytuff, Sylveon, Gardevoir, but helping speed up is a good second choice on those Pokemon too. In short, helping speed down is very bad, experience gains up is bad, experience gains down is good, speed of help up is very good. If you're still wanting more than a surface level on knowing if you have a good Pokemon, although I do hope I cleared up a little bit in this video, there are two sites you can use. You can use Pokémon Sleep Grader, which is a very simple and easy to use website, although once you realize that ingredient Pokemon need ingredient finder and inventory up, you're going to get the hang of this really quick. The site is nice if you've eliminated all the bad ones and you're just deciding between two Pokemon you may want to invest in, but I will say that sometimes the site is weird and doesn't give you the most accurate results. So that's why I spent the majority of this video really trying to point out what you're looking for, because once you get a hang of it, you won't need to go to these kind of sites. The other site is called Raynox. I'm probably saying that wrong. The site is much more complicated, but more in-depth, and it has a pretty huge learning curve to use it. I'd argue once you learn how to use this site, you probably will know how to identify Pokemon in sleep as you catch them. And the site also paywalls some stuff, but it is for a power user. I also want to give a shout out to Bropenings, who does deep dives into Pokemon Sleep mechanics. This is not what today's video was, but instead I was just helping you get a good grasp of the basics so you could enjoy the game at an earlier level. But if you're looking for more in-depth stuff, I would check out his stuff. It's really great. Before we wrap up, one of the most important things you can do is find 50 friends. Please use your friends list in this game and add people. When you tap that research community button, you will get 1 to 2 candy from each friend per day. That is a minimum of 50 candy for your Pokemon to help level them up or evolve them for free. You can also control which candy you're sending to your friends, and hopefully your friends are doing this for you too. The picture you select in the morning is the candy you will send your friends. So if your morning picture is a Gulpin, change that to like an Eevee or a Charmander or whatever else you woke up to. Literally anything better than a Gulpin or the Pokemon I mentioned earlier. If you need help finding or adding active players, feel free to join our Discord. We have a great community that can add you and answer any questions. But if there's one takeaway from this video, make sure you have an active friends list of 50 people because it is 50 to 100 candy a day for free, and it will help with the slow burn that is Pokemon Sleep. There's so much I wanted to cover in this video, but this video already has a lot, so I hope that this helps cover any basics you have about the game and helps at least direct what you should be looking for in ingredient, berry, and skill Pokemon. Leave any questions below. I'll do another video clearing up some more gameplay mechanics. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.